me Big LA. Big Sele. Big Money. Big Billy.
Bro, that was like probably his worst lyrical performance
ever.
That should be going on the workout though. I'm telling you. The end, Lord have mercy. Whoop whoop. Broad is thirsty. I have a man reimbursement.
My man reimburse me.
That nigga said if the
what are we
broad
talking about?
is thirsty.
I had my man reimburse me. Like, what are we talking about
Listen,
here?
he asked all the fellas if they were trying to get their head sprung too, so we can have a conversation.
I'm telling you. No, you heard what he said on that. Heard what he said on that. That motherfucking. This is the brand new flavor in your ear. This nigga said she, blotitious, skeevy, delicious. Yeah. What does that mean?
Give me couscous. Give me couscous. Let me good.
What does that mean?
Hollis to Hollywood. Hey, what else he doing?
We need receipts, bro. We need to know what's going on. But yo, my name is Bilal Ray. I'm one of your hosts of the Lum LaL show.
Yo, my name is Pharaoh Lum. We back after a little hiatus. We still here.
Yeah. And today we got a special guest.
For sure.
Longtime friend, man. I've known this guy since kindergarten. Legit. He now is a father, a business owner, the creator of the 3P podcast, Passion, Pain, and Progress. Mm-hmm. And just a good guy, bro. My man Darnelle Turner, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you coming through, bro.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro. It's been a long time coming, man. Cause we've been, our lives been kind of like interestingly like parallel a little bit. Yeah. You know, there's always like we kind of doing something similar, even if we haven't like been in contact. It's just like damn, because you did the podcast and then we started doing a podcast and. You know, football, we played football together, all type of stuff, man. So I wanted to start off and ask you about your journey to health and marathons and just personal development. Because I feel like the last time that we were like young and like hanging out a whole lot, we were both two different people.
For sure.
To like based upon where we're at now. So it's crazy because I kind of start the same question off with our guests. Like, what was your journey like? You know what I mean?
Tell me your life story. Here we go again. Tell me your life
story.
Tell
me your life story. Like,
so I will honestly say, so my journey into fitness started in around 2015.
Word.
So 2015 was like a hectic year for me. Yeah. So I was in college. Me and my wife, we had, or at my girlfriend at the time, but we had our first child. Yeah. And I was making that transition from being a full-time employee to a business owner. Yeah. So I started the cleaning company that I have around that time, so DT&A Cleaning Solutions. We started that, and it was just a big transition. So getting into business and everything like that, I mean, anybody who started a business, they'll always tell you the first 2 to 5 years are going to be the hardest years of your life, and honestly, I can attest to that. So over those years, I mean, the weight gain came because doing cleaning work, you're in buildings at 2:00 in the morning or special contracts. You're doing like it is. Every contract that I had that was like a special contract was next to a Chipotle. It was next to a McDonald's. It was next to it was like
I talk to him about that all the time. We talk about health stuff. I'm like, bro, most people eat based on convenience and affordability. They ain't thinking about nothing else. What is here for me and what can I afford at the time?
That's a complete fact. Yeah. And being in that space, you're around a lot of people that like. I mean, it's just not a thing to be healthy. You know, I need something to fuel myself, and chances are that stress brings on like those bad eating habits. So you're like, I remember specifically being in a contract, and I had some of my workers, they're doing work, and I remember thinking like, man, they're working hard. I'm gonna go get them a pizza. You know what I mean? And you're like, you're just thinking like, how do I feed my employees? How do I fuel myself? And how do we keep going? So over time, over the years, the weight started adding on, the stress weight started adding on, and I just remember it was 2018, and I remember I looked at myself in the mirror. It was around Christmas time, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, "Holy crap, who is this dude?" Like,
damn.
I really didn't recognize myself.
Yeah.
And so I got on the scale when I was about 294, and pretty much over those 5 years, I put on at least 40 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was drinking every night. I mean, it was just the habits that I had was just terrible. Mm-hmm. I remember there was a specific moment where, I had like, now we're like 2019, I had like one of the best years I ever had in business. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting with my older brother, and we're sitting in the cigar bar with his mentor, and we're just like going over like, oh man, this is what I made, mm-hmm. and we're supposed to have a good year. And I remember sitting there thinking like, but why do I feel like a failure? Like, I feel like I failed. And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, something got to change. Like, you're not happy. You've had a great year in business. You're not happy. Something got to change. So I decided to get back in the gym. Like you said, we played football. Mm-hmm. And I remember at that time, football was like, I don't know if it was mainly just playing football or just being active. You don't realize all the benefits that come with you just running and, the camaraderie with your boys.
Camaraderie is real. Mm-hmm.
So I remember being like, okay, let me go to the gym. So it was always a big thing in my mind to run a 10-minute mile. So I remember thinking to myself, like, yo, if my family needed me in 10 minutes and I had to run a 10-minute mile, can I do it? And I think that sparked that motivation, because it wasn't just about me, it was about them. It was about my family. It was like, this is my why. So how do I use my why to get myself in a better position? And I remember from that day, I started running. And it was, I wouldn't say that I ran that full 10 minutes, that 10-minute mile, but it was like a progress. And after I got done with that 10-minute mile, I was just like, oh, like I can do this. And then that sparked the whole next part of my journey. It was like a
snowball.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that was the spark for my journey right
Word.
there.
Yeah, word.
That's dope, bro. I definitely can resonate with that moment of being like damn, like I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Like, and I feel like, I don't know if I feel like that's something that people in general go through, but I would say that that's something that every man that wants more, you're going to have a moment like that. Yeah. You're going to have a moment. I don't care what you did, who you helped, how people think about you. You're going to feel like, damn, I'm not doing enough.
No,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I was taught to believe that. That's something that I always tell people. Like, my mom taught me how to get it how I live. You know what I'm saying? Out of certain situations, how to make something out of nothing. But my dad taught me how to never settle for anything. Like, no matter how good, you always can go and get yourself a little bit more if you really want to. It's okay to be, I don't want to say satisfied or use the word complacent, you know what I'm saying? But it's okay to enjoy and appreciate what you have. But even as him, because he's always been a guy who wanted to push for a little bit more, he's always like, yo, you're supposed to want to elevate yourself all the time. There's always a little bit more room to elevate. But I feel like when you have that mentality in general, even if you're not technically constantly elevating, it leads to a higher quality of life for you. You know what I mean? Because you're not always going to settle on the worst deal or settle on the worst house or settle on the worst diet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, per se, the worst habits, because you're always pushing for a higher quality of things.
And the biggest thing, so after that process of really getting it, then I started running more. I started going to the gym more. And the biggest thing I've realized is that, like, okay, I can hack this. Now I can take my progress in the gym and move it to the business. So that's how I became, like I'm learning the discipline, like we talked about earlier. I'm learning how to add that discipline to other facets of my life. So now I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna get up early and I'm gonna go to the gym, now I'm like, well, why can't you get up early and start your work? Why can't you get up early and make that business plan that you've been trying to make for 10 years? You know, how many people operate in business and they don't even have a business plan or even have a plan for your life? So I think that was the biggest thing, to take what I was doing in the gym and then transfer it over to my life, because now I'm healthier for my wife. I'm healthier for my son. And the biggest, I will honestly say, the biggest thing I took away is I remember being with my son in the mornings after like a long, because literally I would get done with a contract and I'd go to Get Go or a gas station, grab a 6-pack and go home and then drink, because I didn't know how to process the fact that, like, I was in a high stress situation, because it's hard to go from a 9-to-5 to a business owner and you still have the 9-to-5 mentality. So I transfer from that to being like, hey, I got a check coming in every 2 weeks, to being like, you eat what you catch. You know, if you don't kill this month, you don't eat. Your family don't eat. So I didn't know how to even process that. So I was just like, all right, bet. Like, I'm gonna just drink. So I remember specifically wake up in the morning, and my son, and at the time he was let's say, I noticed this around my first year. He was about maybe like 8 months to a year, and I remember he just wanted to play in the mornings, and I'd be like, I can't. I'm hungover. Like I'm tired. Like you know what I'm saying? And then I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't want to feel that way no more. So then I went on this whole other journey of stop drinking. So I did a 90-day challenge and stopped drinking for 90 days. I've learned so much about myself in that time, because now I realized drinking was my identity. I made it my identity. So that unhealthy lifestyle became my identity.
I remember we were sitting on your porch drinking 40s, eating cookies. No, it's like, oh no, we had chocolate chip cookies, and 40s of OE.
Yo,
that's facts, man.
I'm laughing because I vibe with that. Yo, I remember I was telling somebody, it's a shame how you could be like drinking a 40 in like 90-degree weather. Like, bro, I was literally walking around drinking a 40. It'd be 95.
Like drinking a 40.
Who taught us?
We was drinking 40s, bro, and we was probably like 22,
Evil Eye,
23,
that,
like
bro.
drinking
Like,
40, sitting on the porch, eating chocolate chip cookies from motherfucking Panic and Dairy.
Facts.
They had them bomb ass chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, them chocolate chip cookies.
Telling you,
and somebody wrapped. It wasn't even like a package.
Nah, somebody wrapped that shit in plastic. Somebody wrapped that shit in plastic.
Penn Station tried to take their sauce. They ain't the same.
Penn Station, nah.
They tried to take their sauce, so just wrapping the cookies up, and they ain't the same.
It ain't the same, bro. Somebody hand wrapped them bitches up with some saran wrap. You feel me?
They tried to take their sauce.
But just think about this. So right, so like we associate that with a good feeling. We like, that was a good time. That was a good time, right?
That's the crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a bomb. But you're not even realizing, like, this is what I've learned. Yeah, exactly. That's what I've learned. Look on the back of just not even a cookie, like a pack of cookies, but look on the back of the ingredients.
Oh yeah,
of a cookie.
Oh yeah, bro.
And it's crazy that we was like, okay, we're going to eat these cookies that we have no control. We don't even know who made these. Facts. We don't even know how much sugar they put in there, because they're like, as long as they keep coming, we gonna keep pushing them out. So it used to be maybe like a 4-pack. Man, there was probably like 1,000 calories in just that pack of cookies. And then you got whatever is in the malt liquor that's in the 40, because we ain't even talking about beer. Yeah. We ain't even talking about an IPA that we know somebody might have took some time to make.
No, yeah.
We talking about like
malt liquor.
Yeah. So that was before we even got to lunch, dinner, the snack that we ate. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you said something about being young. We were so young and impressionable because, like I said, who did we learn that from? Yeah. Because our moms wasn't like, here go 40. No. Like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't. So you got to think, we're learning this from a whole nother place, and now we're killing ourselves. And like you said, by the time you're 25, and that's when I started my business, and that's when I started noticing those unhealthy habits. By 28, bro, I was close to diabetes.
Yo, I know the pod is getting good, but we have a message from our sponsors. Did you know that only half the adults with mental illness actually get treated?
Or that 2.5 million youth in the U.S. actually suffer from severe depression?
Our sponsors, the House of Wax, is raising awareness of mental disorders through knowledge, education, and music as a collective resource hub.
So let's normalize talks about mental health. To continue to raise awareness, for resources, visit the house at waxmentalhealth.org. And if you know someone in crisis, make sure to tell them to dial the crisis hotline at 988, because
you are not alone.
Like this close.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, and you look around and you're like, okay, something got to give, because I'm gonna die at 50. That's how you die at 50.
We had 2 friends that passed before 35, both health issues. Bro.
Yeah, best friends.
Yeah,
and passed like, I want to say, a little more than a month apart. Yeah. Still, every time I think about it, it messes me up. I got both their obituaries at the crib and shit. And I was like, last year, I was even telling him, I have 2 uncles that passed a couple years prior to that, both in the military. You know, I got one who sober his whole life. He's in he's in the Hall of Fame wall for West Virginia for basketball. Was a deacon, you know what I mean? They both passed early, and to me, even not participating in the mole liquor, it's like we just have so many things that can take us out, or
so many things.
We just have so many deadly factors in our lifestyle. Because even our food choices, I'm just like, all right, this dude didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he was in shape his entire life, he still was training people before he passed. It gotta be the food. That's what I was thinking.
It's the food,
myself.
bro.
I just pinpointed. I'm like, it gotta be the food, yo. There's no way, because I couldn't think of anything else. Even my uncle was in the Air Force his whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Worked, ran, did everything he could while he still could do it. Was working on the crib before he went down. Gotta be the food. You know what I mean? Because even when you don't have someone, you have that, and when you have the 16 chicken wings and the malt liquor on the top.
Whoo! And that's just
With
for
the cookie
that's
after?
just for lunch, baby.
And
We
that's
just getting
how-
started.
And that's still
That's an
sounds bad. That's
appetizer.
messed up.
You talking about? That's an appetizer.
I remember there was one of my down moments in one of my down moments. I remember I ate 2 fast food restaurants in one day.
Yep.
And I was like, this is crazy. Like,
is
what am I
sick.
doing?
You had a
It's
moment
sick.
you like,
But no.
what
You
is
know you
wrong
really
with me?
down bad when you gotta get one thing from one restaurant and another thing from the other.
man.
You like they fries, but you gotta get the sauce here and the drink from the.
You gotta get the empanada from Taco Bell, but the
Come
burger
on,
from
bro.
Wendy's. Do you need a burger and
Yeah.
an empanada?
In the reality, you just
Damn.
needed a variety of sugar to get through the day.
You need and I think the thing is, well, I've been playing
You
bass for
crack
about
and
7 years
heroin.
now.
That's basically
wow.
what that is.
Yeah, playing bass for about 7 years, and there's for me, I did see a big difference, but I'm realizing for me the biggest issue that I've had is when I eat, like, cause I'm great at not eating in the morning. I don't really like to eat in the morning, to be honest with you. Like, it makes me tired. Like, I'd rather just wake up. I wake up, I take some supplements, I go to the gym, come back, take a shower, go to work, and I'll eat at lunchtime maybe. Sometimes I'll go my whole day and not eat until 2 p.m. But my problem is that I'll be eating after 8. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be eating around 9, 10, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's been my major issue, is just like eating late. But as far as like, for the most part of what I eat, like, I'll probably have fries like 4 times a month max. And I feel like that's too much for me. But like, I'm to the point now where I cook more. You know what I mean? I like to cook. I didn't realize how much I like to cook, but I do like to cook. And so that makes pockets a little bit more, relieved, but also the habits change a little bit.
It be time. You know me. I told him I'm working with disabled, mentally disabled, and physically disabled right now. My schedule, I'm getting off at 12 o'clock. So like where my dad was at a certain point in time where I was working and doing, like, it slipped a little bit because like I'm getting off at 12, and a lot of times I'm not pre-planning or I'm working with my client. It's like, yo, you get to eat with your client. I'm looking at what he got. It's like, there ain't nothing in here. It's like, or I'm getting off trying to grab something at 12 before I go to the crib, and you know how that goes. You know what I mean?
If you try to grab something at 12, let me tell you, like, only thing you got to eat is diabetes. That's it.
Bro. There ain't
Like,
nothing out.
There ain't even no. I mean, there might be some chicken and fries depending on which day it is. Like in Pittsburgh, Sunday, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck.
You'll get lucky. You get lucky if you get some garbage.
You'll be lucky if you get some garbage.
right.
Right.
You'll be lucky.
You might have to go for the toxic waste. Like,
Yeah, for real.
like,
I swear.
that's really it.
You might go for the toxic waste.
Nah, for real. And so I seen on your latest pod, you said you had did Sober October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how was that for you?
So I wanted to do Sober October for so long. So this once again, this is always on a mission to better myself and put myself in the best position I can for not only me and for my family as well. So one thing I realized about us, and this goes back to those habits. One thing I realized about us when just as a whole, just as a species, like when we're like, oh man, it's my birthday. We're like, yo, I'm about to turn up.
But
We about to turn up. Like and I started realizing it's like when you come into the world, that's the most pure you are.
Yeah.
So why would we spend that month or even that day
Just getting fucked
getting
up,
messed
like
up and
toxic.
poisoning ourselves and
Yeah,
putting them toxins in? So I did Sober October, which was hard because it's hard because I don't know if anybody else's mind like this, but if somebody tells you not to do something, that's when you really, really want to do it.
Yeah, that's what you really
Like,
want to
that's
do.
when
I
you
just
really
went on a fast, and like I ain't think about food, but I thought about food way more than I do when I'm not fasting. So
Right, and
happens every time.
And for that, so it was a whole conundrum of things because not only was I participating in Sober October, I also ran a marathon that month. And so there was like a lot of stressors in that month because not only am I doing 50 to 60 mile weeks, I'm also weight training. I'm also still being a business owner, being a father, being a husband, and also not going to any of the things that take my mind off of the problem at hand. So Sober October, that just a whole October period was just a really, really big switch in the way I even just operate. So it was really good, but it was hard as hell.
I bet it was hard. Yeah, it's always hard to kind of pull yourself away from like the things that people consider to be fun. And I think that because I was going out a lot in my early 20s. Now in my early 30s, I don't go out for real. And the reason why is because I realized I don't be having fun. I never was having fun. Like I told my girl, I was like, I told her the reason why I don't go outside like that, and we'll step out together sometimes. Like, but the reason why I don't be going outside like that is because when I was going outside, I was looking for shorties. Like, I was looking for sex that night. Yeah. Like now that I'm not in that place in my life, like what am I going for?
Yeah, that's what
like I'm not about to have fun. Like I'm not about to have
indulging in that. Yeah, I did used to be on even with your friend. You just out and then you meet a group. There's plenty of times you out, you meet a group of girls, okay, and you might go kick it somewhere. Right, you're not really on that type of time.
I'm not on that, so it just really be like.
And plus, like I told you all the time, like experiences with the club. We had a couple of the same experiences. Like I've been going to the club since I was 13. I've clubbed for 10 straight years. I've had VIP. I've had my own club.
Yeah, facts.
So, like, I literally see no point. Let's just like my homies. I got to be doing it as a favor. Like, if my man's having,
I gotta be getting paid, bro.
I gotta be getting paid.
No, that's how I be feeling. Like I gotta be getting paid.
Or doing it as a favor with somebody who I make money with.
Right.
If somebody who I make money with is like, yeah, I need you X, Y, and Z, and I know it's going. Obviously, we're all right, cool. My man need me somewhere. I'm gonna show up. But other than that, like. I don't really want to be in them places because, like you said, it don't lead to a lot of, and even on some real shit like bad habits. Like to me, random sex was another one of those bad habits.
Oh, terrible habits.
I couldn't not even get, but just say you have moments where you slip, and recently I feel like I slipped into a moment of that like a couple months ago. I'm just like, I'm not trying to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? This shit don't feel like how it feel when you like 22 getting drunk, hitting somebody random. Then you just be sitting there like. What am I doing? Like, But people don't realize that. I feel like there's a lot of niggas be like, yo, you sound crazy as hell.
No. Y'all sound crazy, bro. Because the time that you spend chasing things that don't give you any value in return is wild.
Yeah, bro.
Like like the drinking habits or the smoking habits. Like I know people that smoke every day and complain about not having money. Smoking weed is more expensive than smoking cigarettes, bro. Yeah. And cigarettes are expensive. Hell, I remember when my mom was complaining, like when I don't know how old I was. My raise was like, damn, cigarettes just damn near $4 now. My grandma wanted a pack of cigarettes the other day. My cousin went to go get it for her. She was giving her money for it. And in that moment, I realized that in 2023, packs of cigarettes was $10 plus.
$11.50. My mom.
Bro,
I just had this conversation with her. And literally the same conversation about what you spend your money on versus what you shouldn't spend your money on. And it's to the point now, it's funny because like I'm like, okay. I'm at the point in my relationship with my mom where I'm kind of like the adult and she's kind of like the kid where I'm like, you need to have money for X, Y, and Z. And you're just talking about money for stuff that don't really matter in the long run. You need to eat. You do realize that, right?
You're talking about cigarettes.
You're talking about cigarettes.
It's to the point now you got to buy a gram of nicotine or some shit. A gram of tobacco or some shit.
Listen,
like,
my homie, he's
you must start buying a zip with fucking cigarettes. He's
rolling his own cigarettes. He bought a box of tobacco, the paper.
That's when it's crazy.
They about to start putting
if it's that real,
Ziplocs, bro.
If it's that real, bro, I don't know. Figure something else out.
$11.50 a pack?
Something.
It's the same product.
Yeah.
With the same amount in the product.
Yeah.
And I remember people was buying the same product for $4. I don't know how many years ago.
Getting upcharged to get poisoned is crazy.
Getting upcharged to get poisoned is sick.
Yeah, how much was that poison? Now it's 11. 11? Yeah, 11. Nigga, I need it. Nah, take that.
Damn.
Here.
So, I feel you on a Sober October because, like I've been fasting at least once a month, and it's been like, some days it's longer, some days it's not. The longest fast I had was 3 years ago. Over the summer, I did a 30-day water fast, 30-day liquids, because I had some like rice milk in between, and that shit was transformative. I lost a lot of weight, but it wasn't really for the weight. It was really just like I wanted to see if I could, and I also was going through a spiritual transformation. I was wearing all white at that time, and I wanted to challenge myself, bro. And like I realized that after day 10. You don't even think about food no more. You don't even really after I would say at the end of day 3, the beginning of day 4, you're not thinking about food no more. You're just thinking about getting as much hydration as possible.
People don't even believe me when I told them, because that's somebody's like, oh, I gotta eat. I said, I got a friend. I literally sat and watched my boy not eat food for 30 days.
That's real life, bro.
I'm like, that was a point in time
doing push-ups and everything
where we were together for 5 to 8 hours a day working on shit all the time.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying. So it's like I seen he just wasn't eating. So people be like, you can push yourself to do a lot more things than you can.
Absolutely.
Certain things, and most of the time, people be like, oh, I'm gonna start. Like, people don't realize how far you actually are from starving. Like,
bro,
how far you actually are. I'm gonna start. No, you won't.
No, you won't.
You think if you don't eat tonight and tomorrow morning, you gonna starve? You think if you don't eat tonight and tomorrow morning and you don't eat till tomorrow night, you gonna you won't.
No, you're not. Yeah,
it's just
you gotta especially. I don't be trying to be funny. Dude, I was talking to was like 360. I'm like, listen, bro, you got a little bit more time.
Give it up, brother.
Than the rest of us.
Give it up, brother.
You might got more. Listen, you got a little bit.
Yeah, you got
a little more time.
The average body got 20 to 30 minutes reserves of not glucose. The other one. I forgot. Maybe it is glucose. We got about 30 minutes reserve of that. My boy probably got way more than that. Right. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
it'll be cool. Like.
So fasting has been my way to kind of like challenge myself. I fasted. I recently had like something happen over the summer that was just like a challenging moment, and so I had fasted until it was resolved. And it's really the spiritual thing for me, because I would say like this. You ever see a singing bowl? Like a Tibetan singing bowl that you hit the side and go boom.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right, and you can like. So those work, and they give off resonance. They give off energy. They give off sound, which is energy, which is motion, and all this goodness, right? So, but the only way they work is when they're empty. Because if you got one full of quarters or full of whatever, it's not going to make the proper note, or it might not make any note. You know what I mean? And I feel like the body is the same way, where you can't get close to the essence of manifestation and God or whatever you believe if your body is full. You know what I mean? It's like you got to empty your body out in order to kind of like receive messages. Okay. You know what I mean? And that's just my philosophy. And so that's why I like to fast, regularly. And also all the shit we ingest, like through the air. Of course, you talk about the food, the drinks, like the water's fucked up. You know what I mean? The EMF from the phone. So I just feel like a good fast sometimes it's just something that we need. Yeah, that's how necessary. I feel. Yeah, that's how I feel.
So how I approach fasting is I do intermittent fasting. So,
nice.
So Monday through Friday I do intermittent fasting, and usually it's like I usually go farther than I actually need it, because like you said, you get to a point where you're like, I'm not even hungry. I try to aim for a 14, but I end up doing like 16 or 18 like sometimes. And especially I set it up to where like if I'm done eating by 6, I'm not eating again until 12 or 1 o'clock the next day. But what I found from fasting or doing intermittent fasting, one, you definitely lose a lot of weight, but you're also actually allowing your body to process the food that you ate the day before. But then also you appreciate the food that you eat. Eating.
When you sit down and eat, you be like, woo, like shit tastes different.
Bro, like it's like for an example, like for some oatmeal. Like most of the times when you go to eat oatmeal or you go to eat breakfast, it gotta have sugar in it, got fruits, gotta have X, Y, and Z. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but fast for 16 to 18 hours and then eat just plain oatmeal. You're gonna be like, oh, this is different.
This is delicious.
Yeah, it's good. So that I think that's another thing that happens is we don't allow our bodies to even want food.
To want food. To need food.
Right. Yeah. And going a little bit back, because y'all both said something about like even the drinking and going out. You said like you start to feel like you don't even want to be out. You're like, I don't even like this no
bro.
More. The truth is, and it goes back to something that we said earlier, and you're really doing it for the camaraderie.
Yeah,
you're doing it because everybody's doing it.
Because everybody's doing it.
We're all out.
Sometimes it's like associating. It's like giving those bad habits up in a way. It's like giving your friends up.
Yeah, giving your friends up.
And if that's what it takes, then is we friends for real?
Bro, listen, that's
all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got is poison.
We friends.
In this self-growth place that I have literally dedicated myself to for the last 10 years, you start to realize those things.
Right.
You're like, who is friends? And just like we said earlier, yo, we've literally known each other since kindergarten. We've always come around. It's always been love. That's a friendship. I don't have to talk to you every day to be like, hey, are we friends? Like, yo, I can see your journey. I've seen the stuff that you've done, and you've seen it. Like, I sent you a random text the other day of my son playing an iPod, iPod Nano with some of your older songs on. Yeah. Like, I got like songs from y'all that like my son will just be in and he'll just be playing them. I had to send them to him like, bro, look at this. So that's a friendship. Like, I don't have to talk to you every day to be friends, but there's people that literally you cannot go one day without talking to, and you tell them, yo, I think I'm a fast. Why would you do that? Yeah. You gonna go hungry?
You're crazy. That's weird.
You gonna stop drinking? Why would you stop drinking? Wow. I can't go a week without smoking. But then you start to realize it's like, oh, you were just friends because misery loves company.
We have the same addiction.
We have the same trauma bond.
Crackheads. Guess who crackheads hang out with?
Crackheads.
They be deep.
I ain't never seen
crackheads still be out.
I ain't never seen a crackhead have a full conversation with somebody that wasn't a crackhead if it wasn't about them asking for something.
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't never seen it.
Unfortunately, I be going to see I be going over. I'm saying to my old neighborhood where my mom live, and around that area, there's still an abundance of crackheads.
Yeah, the things be out.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it do be like that. They hang with each other. Yeah. Or be like, what's up, baby? How you doing? You got $1?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Snaps be out.
Yeah, it'd be crazy, man. Yeah. But like I feel like that's the thing that gives me the worst fear in the world, because the thing that motivates me to kind of crack bad habits is my worst fear is being old and swagless.
He been saying this for like 10, 15 years, bro. Old and swagless is crazy, though.
I'd rather die. I'd rather die than be out here
old and swagless,
70, 60, wandering the street with fucking
looking
dirty
crazy.
Ass pants, have some young dude looking at me like, what the fuck could have possibly...
Bro, and you know what's crazy? In this moment, like, I've heard you say that so many times, but in this moment, it triggered a memory that... It's a memory that's always been close to my consciousness, because I've brought it up in different conversations, but I didn't realize what I was witnessing was old and swaglessness until this moment, right? Because there was this memory... My mom told me one time, she's like, "Oh, you gonna go to college, or you gonna go to ITT Tech?" Now, there's nothing wrong with trade schools. In fact, in this economy, in this day and age, I would prefer my children, if they had to pick college or trade, I wouldn't be mad at no trade, because that's a whole nother conversation. But I just feel like I low-key feel like if you're going into college and you're not learning a skill, then you're wasting money. If you go to college as a Black history teacher, as a person that went to school for history, I realized that the fact that our kids go to school to learn Black history is a waste. And the reason why it's a waste is because we spent 17 years molding a child's mind who didn't get enough Black history to where now they have to spend $100,000 to go somewhere to learn Black history. That's crazy when you really think about it. But on a whole nother thing, though, she was like, you going to go to ITT Tech or you going to go to college? ITT Tech, to me at the time, was not fly. It wasn't sexy. I was like, this ain't it, right? But one day I was on a bus. His old head was on a bus, 86B, man. Shout out to the 86B. Shout out to the 86B, bro. I was on the 86B, bro. Kids don't even know that. What's the 86B? Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. Facts, man. Before your time. I was on the 86B, and this old head was on a bus, man. And he smelled like beer and hard work, bro. You know what the feeling of the smell of hard work smell like? It smell like dirt and a mix of metal and a mix of outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you ever had a Black mom or grandma, you know what outside got to smell, bro. Outside got to smell, bro.
Outside.
I smelled it several times. Like, okay, I know what this smell like. But no, he smelled like hard work and beer. He had a beer in the brown paper bag, drinking beer on the bus, and I was just looking at him like, I don't never want to be him, bro. It's late as hell. It's 8:00. He still got his work clothes on, hands dirty, drinking the beer, looks defeated. Yeah. And I was just like, not to judge him, but I don't want to be him.
Never want to, like, that fear between that. Yeah. Like I couldn't. I'm telling you, I could never. That shit it sends chills up my spine when I think about it. Like, and it's crazy to me because I'm old enough now to see dudes who, for in fact, were that nigga 20 years ago. They were. They weren't.
There was that guy.
They were. And now I'm looking at him now, like, I had to tell somebody the other day, like, without putting it out there, as a member of my family, that, like, yo, no, listen, your dad back in the day was that, no, he wasn't a nigga. Yo, your dad was 5'9", hair down to his back, 2 braids on, you know what I'm saying, coming through, dunking on people, 8-pack, chains, pulling up in whips, girls asking who he was that dude back in the day.
Yeah.
And you would not, if I showed you who that dude is now, you would not, you're like, what are you talking about? There's no way that dude is who you just described. And it's like.
And that's how it happens. People, without discipline, you know what I mean? You was talking about habits. Mm-hmm. And I've been reading every day. That's a new habit I picked up, just like being mentored and coached, right? One of the tasks is reading every day. Mm-hmm. And so I've been reading every day since September. I read about 4 books. I'm about to start my 5th book today. But the 2 books that really I feel like are important for everyone to read, like if you're looking for personal development, there's a lot of books that you can read. But 2 books that I would suggest, the first one is Atomic Habits. Yeah, I mean, because it just really breaks down how to build a habit, how to break a habit, right? Super simple. That's the focus, building and breaking habits. But the second book I would suggest to read is The 3 Simple Steps by this dude named Trevor Blake. And he goes through the book. The beginning of the book, he's talking about this woman named Audrey who had cancer, and the doctor told her that she was going to die soon. Her mentality was so powerful about how she was going to live her life and what she was going to do that she lived for like another 20 years, right? But chapter 2, he reveals that Audrey was actually his mom, and that through her, he learned some important steps, or step 1. Now, these 3 steps, bro, are the habits that everyone needs to do anything else. First step is protect your mentality. And that is simply a process of protecting yourself from other people's influence. You know what I mean? Like when someone says, "Nah, I don't think so," when someone says, even when they do it, when someone praises you, like not letting those things become your world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Step 2 is a step where he talks about people don't do even when they read the book, they avoid it because it feels uncomfortable for them. And that is getting out in nature for every day and taking 20 minutes of quiet time. Like 20 minutes of like, even if you got to wake up early, because he got kids, you know, he said, sometimes I got to wake up hella early, drive down the street, you know, by the woods or by the bridge, and I just, you know, and I essentially meditate for 20 minutes out in nature. And the step 3 was writing your intentions down daily, but being not goals, but intentions. Like if your goal is to make $100,000 this year, then the intention is, what's the lifestyle look like of $100,000? Like what, you know, what is the I guess the symptom, or I would say the consequence of having $100,000. What does that look like? What does life look like now? You know what I mean? We're writing those things down daily. And so those are the 3 steps. Those are the 3 habits I felt like. And he goes to explain how each habit has, what is done in his life and other people's life and blah, blah, blah. But man, I'm bringing that up to say like those steps I feel like are the steps that every single personal growth book talks about, but with its own language.
No, I was about to say, when you said that, it was definitely resonating with a little bit of stuff like in the 4 Agreements.
Exactly.
And stuff like that. Like I feel like that's true. And we got to put if we don't start the book club, we got to put a book.
No, we trying to start a book club, bro.
Because we don't talk about 9 books.
We talking about a book club, bro.
I
got to put like a book thing on
bro.
that.
Like and it's just like a monthly thing. Like this month we reading this, and then we check in and just talk about chapters. Like I don't even know what the format is going to look like right now, but I'm thinking about we need a book club because the amount of, I realize I'm just getting started. I'm gonna read every day for the rest of my life, but the thing is like I'm proud of me finishing 5 books. I would always pick up a book, but I wouldn't always finish it. Yeah. But now I'm realizing when I looked at the statistic, most adults aren't going to read a full book cover to cover this year. Like the majority of the world is not going to read a book cover to cover this year.
I got in arguments with people about like suggesting a book for certain problems, and I was like, you know, like
I ain't read no fucking book.
Get cussed out. I'm like,
grown as hell.
I can't tell you how many times somebody says something. I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? I read this book. I mean, I can recommend a book about something like that. You know what I mean? Because somebody else. I mean, maybe I was like, maybe I'm crazy. I just feel like we've all, as people, shared a lot of collective experiences. Yeah. And a lot of people.
Tap in.
You know what I'm saying? So you can tap in with somebody. People look at you like you crazy if you suggest a book.
Oh, you want me to read a book?
That's literally what they say. It's not even like verbatim. Like a book. Like, come on now. Like, who got time to read a book? What are you talking about?
Who got time to read a book? You're watching some bullshit on TV, smoking 3 cigarettes back to back.
Yeah, they don't want to.
You got time to read a book.
And there's Audible now. They didn't really. I'm not listening to no stupid shit.
Oh, not listening to no stupid shit is crazy.
So it's funny because like that's one of my. Anytime I have a guest on my podcast, I always ask them what's a book that changed your life and what's a song that changed your life. And for me, so just going back to the conversation about like you said, like you never want to be old and swagless, right? So that brought up an idea, and it just sparked in my head. Like, just think about what we glorified coming up, and it's like when we looked at that dude, like you're like that dude, he came through with the chains and whips and stuff like that. It sparked 2 things in me. One is like, why did we glorify cats like that, right? Because of the cores, the chains, and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, that person's downfall is their ego.